Hi, this is Lizzy, and I'm going to show you my garden today. Today is either September 7th or 8th, and I did not plant this garden until about the middle of July. So just for those of you who don't have a space early enough, it's really never too late, or seldom too late. So this is part of our corral, and Laura and I and Brad a little bit got these panels over here to fence off what normally is the whole corral. And we got so much rain this spring that it was just way too wet in here. But we chisel it, and then we disc it, and then I rototill. So here are some cucumbers. They really do best when they're staked, but cucumber beetles are killing them. Some of them are wilted, and you can see there's some nice cucumbers. Oh, there it is. Cucumbers on here. And you can see those are wilted. The cucumber beetles carry a virus, and all of a sudden your plant is just dead. And here are some jumbo banana squash, and I planted those from seed. They're an heirloom, so you can save your own seed, but they take a while to grow. Here's a little bitty baby one, but they'll get a foot and a half long or so, and you can treat them like you would a pumpkin or a sweet potato. Here are some pumpkins. Laura wanted pumpkins this year because they are supposed to be a natural dewormer for sheep. And here I planted some cantaloupe late, so a lot of those things over there are cantaloupe. Here's some sweet corn, which I noticed the coons were starting to get into, but hopefully our dog Wiki, who's a Great Pyrenees, will chase them away. So I planted a row of smaller cantaloupe melons here, but it's a really little one. The rabbit keeps trimming them for me. I planted 3 different kinds of pumpkins. Here's kind of a big one. This is called Autumn Gold. And there's the corn. It's just starting to tassel. This is a volunteer watermelon, Crimson Sweet. So they are also, I guess, you call them an heirloom because you can save the seed. There's a bigger, different kind of pumpkin. There's a couple of big ones in there. There's some basil. I planted a lot of herbs in this space, and a couple of teeny tiny things of dill came up, and they're just teeny tiny and they don't seem to grow. And there's some basil. Last year I had a lot of basil, way too much. Here's some peppers. I wasn't real enthused about planting my garden this year, or starting the seed. I started all these peppers from seed in the house. And last year I had about 80. This year I only have 2 dozen. Some acorn squash. Here's one that has a few more on it. I just come out here with my seed packets and I forget what I plant where. But another little watermelon. These 2 are spaghetti squash. Let's see, there's some spaghetti squash on there. And here's some of my tomatoes. I guess I didn't get one of them staked. It kind of fell over. So these are called Goliath Cluster. And I like them. They're just a nice shape, and they hold their size. They hold their shape real good. They don't rot. I don't remember all the types of tomatoes that I planted. Here's some bigger ones. Here's some yellow squash just starting to produce. I almost didn't save this plant because it was so pathetic. Here's some melons. This is a Gallia type melon. It's called Sensation. They start out really green and smooth, and then they get netting on their skin and they get orange when they get ripe, so I'll pick that one. Got some cantaloupe in with them, and some pretty sunflowers. Another cucumber that was planted earlier, and like I said, the bugs just start to kill them. Here are a couple of cucumbers. I guess I've got 3 hills of them that were planted a little bit later, so when my first ones die, I can let the second ones live. Oh, there's a velvet leaf in there. I have to pull that out, that one with the big fat leaves there. Here's some sweet potato vines. The ground had a lot of straw in here, and we'll see whether we get any sweet potatoes or not. If it had rained, I think we would have got a lot. But I also kept these sweet potatoes over last year, and then you just put the sweet potato in the dirt sideways and it will send shoots up, and then you can break those shoots off. There'll be a few roots there too, and then that's what I planted here, was just the shoots. Here are some green beans, which some are going to be purple and some are green. There's actually a green one, and then somewhere here see a little purple one. You can see my shadow. Last year I watered them too much on the plant and they got all rusty, and there is some disease called rust. Here's where I think the coons must have got in the corn patch. I'm hoping Lizzy will keep them away, but we'll see, I guess. It smells like corn there. Here's a nice big squash plant. It's another yellow squash. You can see they're just starting to get squash. Here, I picked a bunch from this one yesterday. It's smaller, but it's produced more. Produced the most so far. Here are some more of the Gallia type melons, Sensation, and some cantaloupe. So, as I said, this year I planted melons at several different times to try to get spread out the harvest. And here are some potatoes that I planted in July. They're not doing that great. Some of them didn't come up at all. This is a volunteer watermelon. I forget what kind it is, but seed lived there all winter and then came up. More cantaloupe. This, I think, is a pumpkin. And here's another. This is a nice cucumber plant. So far it's not dying. Some more of the melons. There's a nice big black diamond watermelon. You can tell when a watermelon is ripe. They'll have a yellow spot on the bottom, and then this little tendril here, this little curly thing right here, will dry up when they're ripe. They do not slip from a vine. A cantaloupe and these Gallia melons slip right from the vine. These are kind of starting to dry up. The bugs have gotten to them. So anyway, that's my garden. And like I said, it wasn't planted until the middle of July. Here I need to rototill again. All these little weeds are called red-rooted pigweeds, and they go real tall Just like that one. That one's leaning over. Here's my fence that my husband needs to fix. He's kind of tried to fix it a little bit, but oh, Jenny the milk cow keeps leaning on it, leaning over. So I hope they don't get in here one day and eat my corn. Oh, and this is a husk tomato. One of my little grandsons loves husk tomatoes, and only one of them would. They have the tiniest seed, and this little paper husk will get brown, and inside there's just a little berry, and it's kind of a tan color, and they're kind of tart, but he likes those. Peppers getting ripe. I used to always pick all my peppers when they were green, and I've learned let them get ripe. So anyway, that's my garden. So I hope this might inspire some of you to try a garden. It's not hard. All these tomatoes, like I said, I think there's between 20 and 2 dozen, and last year I had about 80 tomato plants also, and I had tomatoes clear into December, and I would have had them longer than that, but my husband threw them out because I didn't have time to can them. And one of our sons, well, both of our sons in December had COVID really bad, and then we got it in January, so the tomatoes just got thrown out. But I started all these from seed in the house, and this is the first year that I staked them all, and I think they do better. I could have planted them closer together, I guess, but I wanted them far enough apart so that I could get the rototiller in here. It's just so much easier to use a rototiller than to hoe everything. I still hoe some things, but it's just easier, the rototiller. So anyway, hope you all have a great day, and greetings from Kansas. Bye.